Hello and welcome back to the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where we are running the Subsonic Racing Team. And I think this is episode 3? Yeah, episode 3, because it's the third race. Bahrain was eventful. It didn't go as well as Melbourne. We're not going to talk about that. Just go watch the last video if you missed it. But as you can see, we've got quite a few days in between where we are right now in the Grand Prix as well. We're getting 3 upgrades. We're getting gearbox durability, aero, and I think chassis, all in time for the next race, which is Vietnam. So I'm gonna go. Let's actually do the activities. So we've got 3-day chassis department focus, which is giving us resource points, but also affecting all the what's it called? Department morale, whereas this one's just aero, and it's not like making any of them negative, and it's still giving us that 30. We also have a attend esports event, which just gives us driver acclaim. We have 2-day sponsor event, which is giving us team acclaim, but it's also going to cost us 5k. Sponsor advertisement gives the team 250 acclaim and us 20k. And it's the durability team building, which is the same as the aerodynamics equipment upgrade. So I think we're going to go with, how many days do we have? 3, 6, 9. Okay. So I'm going to go with the aero equipment upgrade. Then go with the sponsor advertisement. And then, oh, it's going to leave us with like one random day though. Durability team building. Okay, that's just leaving us one day. So we're still in the place we were at the start of the season. What is that? There's 11 teams, so 11, 10, 9, 8th fastest team. That way, of course, as I said at the end of the last episode, we should, okay, it didn't actually save, but we did actually start developing that. It also didn't save though, so that's a bit strange. As you can see, though, on the chart, we do have quite a bit of space in between us and Haas. We are kind of closing that gap up to AlphaTauri, although it is a bit of a jump between AlphaTauri and Renault and McLaren, who are actually more or less the same performance. But without further ado, let's get on to, actually no, because I didn't save this either. We upgraded the aero department to get us more resource point generation. Right, now we can move on. So let's get on to the Vietnam Grand Prix. Right, so here we are in the data center at the Vietnam Grand Prix. We are, of course, going to go ahead and simulate our practice sessions, as we usually do, to get us some resource points. But Carl has just sent us some emails. I mean, so is Jeff updating us on the weather. Dry race, dry qualifying, so that's good. Development upgrade, we already went through that. We've already went through that as well. We are, of course, as I said, edging closer to AlphaTauri, which is very good. And then, of course, there's the Vietnam track. But let's go simulate practice, and I guess I'll see you at start qualifying. Right, well, as you see, we are now finished simulating the practice sessions. We've got a total of 880 R&D points, which is excellent. And now we're over halfway through Acclaim Level 3, so easy Acclaim Level 4 by the end of this weekend. So probably by the end of China, we will have that secondary sponsor. So, yep, let's get on to qualifying. Right, so here we are, Q1. We're going to go apply our usual Vietnam setup. Dry, because we're of course dry all weekend. If it was a wet race, I'd probably go with a wet setup, because it's not worth sacrificing grip in the race for a better qualifying session. But let's get out onto the track to set our first lap. Vietnam, I'm usually quite quick around here, but There is a lot of room for error around a few of these corners, especially the final sector. The final sector is pain if you've got the wrong line. But let's get going with our first lap. This one isn't like Bahrain though, because this one, it like starts you way back at the start of the third sector, whereas the Bahrain one starts you on that straight before the final corner. But here we go, coming onto the penultimate corner now. Gotta watch your line through there because I don't want to lose the front wing on the out lap. But here we go, starting our lap. First corner, always a pain at this track. Get the right line round there. As you see, we've ran wide, which means we're now going to run wide turn 2. It's horrible. I hate that corner. That's probably one of the worst corners on the calendar. But then we have DRS zone into this very strange corner. It's like a long hairpin, basically. A quick right and then left, and then a really long left-hander round here. And then into one of the longest straights on the calendar. I mean, down here, DRS is overpowered. You need a good power unit for this track, because if the car behind you has a better power unit than you, you're just screwed coming down to this hairpin. Of course, now, very tight left-hander. You can get a few really like cool moves done down the inside there, which I'm hoping to make some moves like that in the race. But you're not wanting to push out too wide there like I nearly did and clip the wall, because that would be your front wing gone. See, this last sector, it's really quick, and there's lots of room for error. I don't imagine this is going to be too quick of a lap, just because of that like first 2 corners where I ran wide. So we're going to have to really pick up the pace in our second lap. Actually, I take that back. We're ahead of Raikkonen and Russell, and we're in P3. So let's get back to the garage, and I guess I'll see you at the end of my second lap, or maybe even the rest of the second lap. Alright, okay, so here we go for our final lap in Q1. As you can see, we've went faster in Sector 1, and our delta pace is also faster, but we just did that, and that's our lap over. Is anyone coming around this corner? No. So, yep, that is our lap over. It was looking good, but we're still P16. We just gotta hope that the people behind us don't get a decent lap, because if they do, we're gonna be out of Q1. Out in Q1, sorry. So, I guess I'll see you when the results are posted. Actually, no, I'll just go finish this lap, because it'll just end qualifying, and it'll show me where we come. That was a really good lap as well. I just gave it too much wheel spin through the final corner, but where are we? We stay P16, so we're through into Q2 anyway. So, even with that mistake, we were good. I still think I need to turn up the AI level. But no doubt when I turn it up, we're gonna head into like the next race, and it's just gonna be everyone laughing me. Down in P22, but like 6 minutes behind everyone else. Alright, so here we go around the final corner, activating DRS to start our lap in Q2. Of course, it's going to be our only lap because I've left it until the end of the session to go out. We're getting a better line through turn 1 than we did in Q1, which leaves us with quite a bit of room to get through turns 2 and 3. I can say that. But yep, here we go. So I feel this is quite a bit quicker. But I was braking a little bit late there, which has kind of screwed up our line. I mean, we're P16, so I don't really expect anything more. I know I said this is Bahrain, but I'd be happy with P16 in this car. Actually, you know what I might do, because Bahrain I was talking about whether I should keep King or not when we get to mid-season. So I'll actually put out a poll and see what you think. If I should keep him or get rid of him. I'll take a look at the choices and then I'll yeah, I'll look at the choices, see who's the best. I'll maybe give like 5, maybe even 4 options for you to pick from, and then whoever you guys vote for will keep until the end of the season. And then from there, whatever money we have, we'll either re-sign them or get someone else. But here we go, across the line, and we are qualified in P15. Okay, so we improved by 1 position. I'm happy with that. I'm actually quite happy with that. So, yeah. Let's get on to the race, I guess. Alright, so here we go around the final corner, activating DRS to start our lap in Q2. Of course, this is going to be our only lap because I've left it until the end of the session to go out. We're getting a better line through turn 1 than we did in Q1, which leaves us with quite a bit of room to get through turns 2 and 3. I can say that. But yep, here we go. So I feel this is quite a bit quicker. But I was braking a little bit late there, which has kind of screwed up our line. I mean, we're P16, so I don't really expect anything more. I know I said this is Bahrain, but I'd be happy with P16 in this car. Actually, you know what I might do, because Bahrain I was talking about whether I should keep King or not when we get to mid-season. So I'll actually put out a poll and see what you think. If I should keep him or get rid of him. I'll take a look at the choices and then I'll yeah, I'll look at the choices, see who's the best. I'll maybe give like 5, maybe even 4 options for you to pick from, and then whoever you guys vote for will keep until the end of the season. And then from there, whatever money we have, we'll either re-sign them or get someone else. But here we go, across the line, and we are qualified in P15. Okay, so we improved by 1 position. I'm happy with that. I'm actually quite happy with that. So, yeah. Let's get on to the race, I guess. New car. Oh. So it looks like we're actually going to get our sponsor objective this race. So Claire's asking us, how do I think things are going? I'm going for the title. I mean, with a great team like this, we can't fail. Great people. I'm not answering that. I hate it. You could have the cleanest race ever, and she'll still ask you that question.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Vettel, Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, and Lance Stroll, Sainz, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat, and Gasly, Lucky, Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen, and Jordan King, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Oh, Jeff being a savage there. I'm sorry we got that last race result because I took too much curb in spun. Not because of the car's performance, but okay, you say that all you like. But here we go, Vietnam Grand Prix, starting behind the AlphaTauris. Let's see how well we can do here. And we are off in Vietnam. We're gonna try and go down the outside of Gasly. Maybe around the... Nope, we have no room through there. Or we might. Kvyat pulled in at the last second. But we're running wide into turn 1. But we've got past both AlphaTauris. We're now coming up on Ocon and Sainz. But they're kind of pulling away. Sad to... The rear kind of slid out there. Which wasn't very good. But Raikkonen, that was a good start from Raikkonen there. As well, because he was behind me and he's now past both AlphaTauris, but we're going down the inside of Ocon. That was a bit of a risky move. I'm just going to let him have the place because there's no point in fighting down here. We might be able to get him down at this hairpin, though. And as you can see, we are catching him with the rich mix combined with the ERS. So we're going to try and go... like dive down the inside of him into this hairpin. But we're making a move on Sainz as well, and we've touched Stroll. So we've got past Ocon. It's just Sainz now that we might be able to make a move on. Coming into here, nope, we don't have enough room. And because of that, like, very harsh braking there, Sainz has kind of got away from us. We might be able to make it back up down the start-finish straight. As you can see, we are out of DRS. ERS now, sorry. Due to just hammering it out down the straight. But it does give quite a bit of regeneration through that last sector. So Sainz is kind of pulling away from us now. So we just got to kind of close this gap down the straight, so hope he doesn't pull away. Of course, McLaren are Renault customers like us. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Renault engines compare. But also, I forgot behind us, we have an actual Renault car. So the three of us all have the same engines. So it's going to be interesting, as I said, to see who's actually going to perform better here. Of course, McLaren and Renault more or less equal performance-wise right now. So I imagine that it's going to be quite hard to close that gap to Sainz, but also open that gap to Ocon. Trying our best to brake late into the hairpin so we can kind of gain a bit on Sainz, but of course he gets the better exit and he just pulls away. I wonder how King is doing. This is probably the bad part of the track to ask, but let's see. Teaming status. Jeff just doesn't give us a response. Thank you. Very handy. But of course, as you saw in that like opening cutscene bit, Valtteri Bottas is leading the championship. Which is really nice to see, considering we're probably never going to see that in real life. He's actually beating his teammate. Bottas's AI is OP in this game, and I just hit the front wing. I'm gonna actually flashback that. We can cut this bit out, it's all good. Hey, we made it to lap 3 without flashbacks, so we're all good. Alright, yeah, so as you saw in that like opening cutscene, Bottas's AI is actually winning the championship, which is nice to see, because of course, we'd never see that in real life. So, Bottas's AI is actually pretty quick. I think it's actually one of the better ones in the game. But actually, no, what am I on about? Yeah, so in my career mode, like my actual, just like off-camera mode, he has won the championship twice. I think I'm on season 4. He's won it twice, and Hamilton hasn't won it once. The Bottas' AI is pretty good in this game. Well, as you can see, Sainz just pulling away from us. It probably doesn't help that he's getting the draft off of Stroll. But we are, of course, going to get DRS this lap, so if we can stay within a second of him, we will be able to maybe breeze past down the main straight. Actually, no, what am I on about? He's going to have DRS from Stroll. Alright, what lap are we pitting again? Okay, we're pitting lap 7. So, 3 laps time, we will be coming into the pits. Okay, so we have actually closed this gap now. So we might actually be able to get him coming into that like quick right-hander and then the left-hander after this upcoming DRS zone. Will be interesting to see if he pulls away. Also, just trying to use ERS as much as we can down these straights to gain as much of an advantage as possible. I'm going to try and move down the inside here. No, I'm not actually. I was going to say we're going to try and move down the inside there, but it was not worth it. But we're losing the rear end through there. Ocon just slamming into the side of us there. We're lucky we didn't take damage. And we get a warning for that. But Lewis Hamilton is out of the session. What has happened here? Hamilton's in the wall! He's in the wall! What happened there? Hamilton has crashed. What has happened there? We need to go look at that replay. Unless he's already out. Nah, he's already out at this point. Aw, that's annoying. Look at him, he's just in the wall. Okay, I don't know what happened to him there. He probably was going like side by side with Bottas and just lost it, which is usually what happens to AI on this track. But yeah, sadly we've lost P11 to Ocon because of that wheel spin coming out of that long left-hander. So we've got another car to try and catch. And it meant that we didn't get that DRS down the long straight either. So here we are, coming to the end of lap 4, going into lap 5. Of course, we're pitting in 2 laps. So let's see if we can catch this Renault car. I wonder where King actually is on the... King is, by the looks of it, P19. He's in that. He's at like the back of that massive train. Braking late into here, so we can maybe. Let's hopefully, if we can get a good exit out here, we can battle Ocon down into the hairpin. And we have got that good exit we were hoping for. Let's activate Rich Mix. In hope that okay, we're getting DRS as well, but he's pulling away. Just with that power that that car has, it's just so much better than ours. But as you can see, Stroll and Sainz going side by side, which is going to slow the two of them down, which means Ocon's going to catch up. We could see a three-way battle in front of us here, which will be good for us, as it will slow them down. I mean, we can pick up the scraps. Right, I just noticed as well, Sainz has actually got past Stroll, and Sainz is just pulling away from him, getting closer to his teammate Norris. I've messed up my line through there, though. I'm just going to slow me down a bit. So now that Hamilton is out, that means that Bottas is like just won this race unless he messes up. Because if you look down the bottom left, look at that gap he's got to that Red Bull. It's either Verstappen or Alba. I don't know who it is. But that gap he's got is just basically secured on the win. Hamilton is really only competition here. Of course, we're going to be pitting in next lap, so it'll be nice to see if we can make up any places during the pit stops. Of course, in Australia, we managed to make up a place on Perez, and then in Bahrain, we managed to get that place on... Who was it? I think it was a McLaren, but there's a McLaren coming into the pits now with a Renault. So that is Norris and Ricciardo coming into the pits, along with Vettel and Verstappen. So that means that we will be pitting in the same lap as Ocon and Sainz. Maybe Stroll as well, I don't know. They might decide to pit in Perez instead, but we will find out. As you can see, we're 7 laps in. We started on plus 2.1 laps of fuel. We're now down to 0.7 laps. Well, plus 0.7 laps, because before if we're on 0.7 laps, 7 laps left. But yeah, pit stops are going to be key right now, because we are kind of struggling to keep up with these guys. But we will find out. Who's that going side by side? That's Sainz and Leclerc. Of course, them two are going to be teammates next year in real life, which is going to be interesting to see, but I'm more excited about Ricciardo and Norris. That pairing is going to be good on track and off track. But here we go, we're coming into the pits now. Stroll isn't pitting, but Ocon is, and so is Sainz. Leclerc is as well. There's an AlphaTauri pitting, I don't know who that is though. There we go, revving the engine. But it was a delayed exit, and we're coming out right behind Ocon, so we don't make the place up, but we're going to be right behind him. Of course, Ricciardo's actually suffered here, because Sainz has gotten past him. Ricciardo, I think, was ahead of Sainz and Norris. Both the McLarens have jumped him. We can come out of lean mix, go back onto standard. Right, now here we go. Coming down the straight, we might be able to dive down the inside of Ocon on the hairpin. But no, it seems like he might be too far ahead. Yep, he is. But we are actually going to benefit from 2 McLarens battling down there, because it slowed everyone else up. Meaning that, oh my god, look at this train forming. This track is just all DRS trains. I never actually thought about the DRS trains that could be on this track, which of course we didn't actually get to see it this year because of a certain thing that happened that kind of affected the whole world. I wonder what that was. But we are now past Ocon, and we're free to kind of wait, are we in P10? Wait, how did we get P10? Okay, never mind, no. I thought we had P10 for a moment, but I forgot Stroll was in the pits. But here we go, we might actually be able to catch Ricciardo down the main straight, but I'm actually going to make a move down the inside here. But of course he's now in front of us, which means we will get DRS, which means we can make a move down the inside into the hairpin. I've been wanting to do that again all the race, because we only got to do that on like the first 2 laps. Ocon coming in for a move. Here we go, down the inside. We're actually trying it on Norris as well. We wouldn't get away with that in real life. But no, Norris manages to fight back and hold the position, but we've got the outside line through there. And we've managed to get past Ricciardo and Norris, which puts us up to P9, which means we might have a shot at our second points finished here at the Vietnam Grand Prix. Of course, both these cars are quicker than us, though, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to catch up to me, and if they're actually going to battle each other. Of course, last lap Ocon was kind of right on our tail on the DRS zone, but we need to try our best to get in within that second of signs so we can get DRS. But it appears we're not going to be able to do that, so we are now sitting ducks here. I'm going to need to flashback that. I'm not doing the rest of this race with that damage to the front wing. But yeah, as I was saying, we are now sitting ducks for Norris to pick up. Try our best to defend. I'm actually going to move onto the inside line down here. He's locked up as well, so we quite easily take that position back from him. But I think we definitely need a better driver than King in that car, because King is not doing very well in the other car. But I've also got to remember that I'm outperforming what this car can do. Where actually is King? Is Jeff going to tell us this time? Yes, he is. Let's see, so his last lap was a 1:54. Mine was 41. I am lapping. How many seconds quicker is that? That's a good 13 seconds quicker, which is a lot. Of course, Norris fighting back now. I'm not going to give him that position. And we're still not within that 1 second of signs. So he's, again, going to be able to make a move on us down the DRS zone. And we're going to have to start saving fuel, because it's getting very low. But oh my god, Norris is in the wall. What just happened there? Lando Norris is now out of the race while trying to make a move on us. I mean, we need to get a replay of that. So here we go. Norris activates DRS. Come around here. That is a very rookie mistake there. What I say is I've hit the wall a few times. But yeah, look at that. He just tries to go down the inside, realizes that he can't, quickly switches onto the outside, but just loses the rear of the car because he has DRS open and just in the wall. I imagine that's what Hamilton did earlier in the race. So well, we're not going to be dealing with him anymore anytime soon. So that is good. So now it's just the Renaults we need to worry about. So imagine with the money we get at the end of the season, we're going to come away from the Renault engines and maybe move to Ferrari, Mercedes, try and get that bit more performance that we need right now, that we are going to need. Of course, what is our durability like? Okay, so our reliability is pretty solid though as well. I mean, we're 3 races in, and actually, maybe not, the ICE is actually 50% wear, which isn't that good for the 3rd race in the season. Of course, we will get our 2nd gearbox after Monaco, I think, because that is the 6th race. So we're halfway to getting our 2nd gearbox, and our gearbox has 29% wear, so that's pretty good. But here comes Ricciardo with DRS, but he's hit us. So he has hit us. Again, that's 2 races in a row now. Ricciardo has hit into us. So we're going to fight back down the inside. Bit of a dirty move through there, as there was contact. But anything to keep this night. Diving down the inside. And there we go, we get the move down. And as you can see, just from battling Ricciardo, Sainz and Stroll are now 4 seconds ahead. They are just gone. But Ricciardo is now pitting, so they also think that, I think he actually lost his full end plate. I mean, that was his fault. He turned in on me. But this has been quite an eventful race, I have to say. As we're on the penultimate lap now. I actually managed to say that first time. If you go watch episode 1 and episode 2, I said that 3 times to be able to say it right. It's quite funny. But now you see we actually have a 2nd gap between me and Ocon, meaning that he's not going to be able to get DRS down here unless I make a mistake and he manages to pick up the scraps. Nope. Okay, well I think it's just plain sailing from here on out for these last 2 laps. But yeah, as you can see, Bottas is now on the final lap of the race. As I said earlier, it's a very easy win for him now that Hamilton's out of the picture. Because I think he did the exact same things Norris did. Tried to go on the inside, realized there was no space, quickly switches to the outside, loses the rear end because he's got DRS open, and then just face plants into the wall. Both of them just binned it. But as you can see, Ocon is now within a second of us, so this might be a dramatic final lap of the race. As for King, I think he is in 18th now that Ricardo has had to pit. I might have to go back onto the lean mix in a minute. I don't know though, because we are only on like 0.1% lap. 1.1%, what am I on about? Plus 0.1%. Plus 0.1 laps, not percent, Jesus Christ. But here we go. Ocon, not even with the DRS, manages to get that move done. So I think P9 might be lost at this point. Unless he can manage to pull off a move down the inside here. No, he's too far ahead. But P10, I'm not complaining. This will be our second points finish of the season, meaning that we will complete our sponsor objective, like our primary sponsor objective. We're 3 races in and we're already completing our like season objective, which is to finish in the points twice. Of course, we did that in Melbourne by finishing P9, and we're doing that here in Vietnam by finishing P10. So we now have a total of 3 points, which I don't know where that's putting us in the championship. It's either 7th or 8th. Here we go, final corner, crossing the line and finishing P10.
Here we are then, a fantastic Vietnam Grand Prix, and what a performance it was from our race winners today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So, as you can see, P7 in the standings, which is pretty good, considering we are a new team, basically. Finishing P10 for P15, and P18 from P16. No, P16 for P18 for Jordan King, which is great. That's great. That's probably his best performance. But I guess it's time to get back to the team headquarters.
The fans really seem to enjoy that.
Right, so before we get to the team headquarters, we've got some interview questions with Claire. I really got to take a little bit to their expectations. I hate answering those questions. All of them are negative. Like, it would be nice if there was one that was just neutral. But I think that is now has actually answered all two interview questions that are required for a sponsor objective. So that is good. And as you can see, we are now acclaim level 4, I think. if it wants to do it. Yep, claim level 4, so that means by the end of the Chinese Grand Prix, we will have a claim level 5, and we will be signing that secondary sponsor. Well, that's secondary sponsor. But of course, in total, we are getting, I think... Yep, there we go. We now have a total of 958.5k, which means, I think, next weekend we might be able to get a new facility, which of course we did just upgrade the aero department. So, well, that was a really good race, so I guess I'm going to leave it here now and just leave you with the highlights. So, yep, thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you in episode 4 at the Chinese Grand Prix.